It is in Parshas Mattos that we find the somewhat startling request made by two of the Shvatim to Moshe Rabbeinu. The context of their request must be understood. Klal Yisrael have fought Sichon v'Og earlier in Chumash Bamidbar and have thereby conquered much land in Ever HaYarden, east of the Jordan River. These wars can be viewed as warm-ups towards the wars which they are heading into fighting quite soon after crossing the Jordan River, when they will begin the long-awaited kibush of Eretz Yisrael. Perek Lamed Bet begins. Umikne Rav Haya livnei Reuven v'livnei Gad atzum va'od. Davka Reuven and Gad had a lot of cattle. Vayiru et Eretz Yazer v'es Eretz Gilad v'hinei hamakom makom mikne. And they saw the area east of the Jordan as having a perfect place for pasture. Vayavo v'nei Gad uv'nei Reuven. Vayomru el Moshe ve'el Elazar HaKohen ve'el Nisiei Ha'edah lemor. And what they go on to say is the land east of the Jordan is wonderful for pasture. And then they make their startling request. Pasuk Hey. Vayomru, im matzanu chen be'einecha, yutan es ha'aretz hazos la'avadecha la'achuzah, al ta'avirenu es ha'yarden. We would like our nachala right here, they say. Please don't make us come into Eretz Yisrael. Moshe Rabbeinu chides the two Shvatim for sounding too similar to the Meraglim, who 40 years earlier had discouraged Klal Yisrael from going right into Eretz Yisrael. He reminds them of Hashem's fury at this negative attitude towards entering Eretz Yisrael, which is what caused those 40 years in the desert. But then Bnei Gad uvnei Reuven try to negotiate a deal. The men of these two Shvatim will enter Eretz Yisrael with the rest of Klal Yisrael. They will lead the military conquest of Eretz Yisrael, and they promise not to return home to Ever HaYarden until the kibush of Eretz Yisrael is complete. Moshe Rabbeinu accepts this suggestion, and in Pasuk Chavtet, he explains to the two future leaders of Klal Yisrael, who will be in charge when this deal will need to be enforced, Yehoshua and Elazar HaKohen, how exactly it is to work. Vayomer Moshe alehem, im ya'avru v'nei Gad uvnei Reuven itchem es ha'yarden, kol chalutz lamilchama lifnei Hashem, v'nichbesha ha'aretz lifneichem, unesatem lahem es eretz hagilad la'achuzah, v'im lo ya'avru chalutzim itchem, v'nochazu besochechem be'eretz Canaan. Moshe tells them, they break the terms, no deal. And then, Vaya'anu v'nei Gad uvnei Reuven lemor, we accept the terms. Then, the surprising ending. Vayitein lahem Moshe, livnei Gad v'livnei Reuven, v'lachatzi shevet Menashe ben Yosef, es mamleches Sichon melech ha'emori, v'es mamleches Og melech ha'bashan. 2 became 2.5. Where did Chatzi shevet Menashe come from? They have not been specified as sharing in this request of Reuven v'Gad at all. Surprisingly, few Meforshim discuss this question. The Netziv does, but primarily not in our Parsha. Combining what he writes here and in Devarim Perek Gimel, here is his explanation. Aside from the concern which Moshe Rabbeinu had expressed to Bnei Gad uvnei Reuven, he had an additional concern. Moshe was aware that Ever HaYarden is not comparable to Eretz Yisrael. Its Kedusha level is lower, and, as the Netziv phrases it, Koach HaTorah me'at bekirba. Moshe was worried about the future of these two Shvatim on such soil, so he devised a plan to mix in even just a portion of a particularly Torah-strong Shevet, one which is destined to produce Gedolei Torah, as is hinted to in a pasuk in Shoftim Hey. The Netziv notes that Shevet Menashe was not interested in having half of them having to settle in Ever HaYarden, and Moshe Rabbeinu needed to sweeten the pot, which is why they have a disproportionately large nachala over there. But for the sake of saving two Shvatim at risk, Moshe requested that half of Shevet Menashe make that sacrifice. People sometimes ask, what's so special about the year in Israel? And in truth, there are many facets to the answer. But I believe that a major part of the special quality of the year in Israel is that it is in Eretz Yisrael. Eretz Yisrael with its higher Kedusha level, with its greater Koach HaTorah. Avira de Eretz Yisrael machkim. Rav Dessler's Zatzal was quoted as saying that after he came from England over to Eretz Yisrael, moved here, he keenly felt the difference. Sugyas, which in Chutz La'aretz had taken him weeks to work out, he worked out within days in Eretz Yisrael. So if you're hearing these words on your way into Eretz Yisrael, my message to you is soak it all in while you're here. Eretz Yisrael is something very special. If you're hearing these words following your year here, my bracha to you is that you take everything that you gained while you were here and infuse your Torah life over there with that special Koach HaTorah from over here.